Hi everybody and welcome to some more Disney news. I was actually preparing to do a Q&A, but the Disney shareholder meeting was this past Thursday, and so much news came out of it that I felt like doing a news video would probably be a little bit more fitting. So let's kick it off this week with, I think, the elephant in the room, the big piece of news, and that is that Frozen 2 has formally been announced. Is anybody surprised? Anybody at all? Is anybody surprised at this news? Frozen was massive. It was a critical success. It was a financial success. It's a merchandising success. I think it was a no-brainer that Frozen 2 is coming. It was really just a matter of when. And it's still something that kids and young people are really clamoring for more of. So I don't think this is really a bad thing. I think the cool thing is Disney is, from what we can tell initially, approaching this the right way. They didn't rush it out. I think, would have expected a lesser studio to announce something like this months after Frozen came out, but it's been almost a year and a half. Not only that, the original directors of the film are on board, Jennifer Lee and Chris Buck, so you've got a great team involved. John Lasseter is supporting this. It's being made by Walt Disney Animation Studio. This isn't like the case of, A Little Mermaid 2 or, those direct-to-DVD sequels where it's just going to get pumped out and thrown out there. It seems like they're going to be giving the care to it that, a sequel should have. There is also no release date. Even if they've been developing it behind the scenes, my personal guess is we wouldn't see it until not this winter, but next winter. So it doesn't seem like they're rushing this along. It seems like, from a company perspective, it's a no-brainer. Just from the fact that so many people still love Frozen, it's a no-brainer. I'm sure there are plenty of people who have been overexposed to Frozen who are going to roll their eyes and think this is a horrible idea. But really, you just don't have to see the movie. Just don't go see it if you don't want to. I think it's a great thing. I enjoyed the first movie. I only ever saw it once, so I was never, overexposed to Frozen. And so I'll definitely go see the second one. As long as it looks like it's going to be as good and funny as the first one, I'll check it out. Speaking of Disney film and Frozen and Disney news, Josh Gad, who you know as the voice of Olaf from Frozen, is in final talks to be casted as the role of LeFou in the live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast, which will be starring Emma Watson. So now, as far as we know, we have Emma Watson as Belle, we have Josh Gad as LeFou, we have Dan Stevens as the Beast, and we have Luke Evans as Gaston. I don't think there's been any talks yet as to who's going to play characters like Lumiere, or deal with the animated characters, or how they're even going to be treated in this live-action version of the film. Production begins later this year, so there's that. He's a funny actor, so that'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to that movie. Are you tired of Disney making live-action remakes of Disney animated classics? No? Good news, because Tim Burton has been reported to be attached to a live-action remake of Dumbo. Not much news beyond that. I will say that the crew that is attached to it so far does not seem to be too exciting for me. You have Erin Kruger, I don't know if I pronounced that right, who wrote the script, who is known for writing the last 3 Transformer movies. You have Justin Springer, who worked on Tron Legacy and Oblivion as a producer. That's not so bad. And then you have Tim Burton as a director. Tim Burton, I feel like, is a very polarizing director. Personally speaking, I feel like there are movies of his that I love and some that I don't really like that much. So it's a 50-50 coin toss when it comes to him when I watch those movies. So, I mean, I'm open to seeing it. That's my take when it comes to any of these remakes, is I'm open to seeing it, because the worst case scenario is it's a bad movie and then I never watch it again and I go watch the classics, right? Best case scenario, it's a smash hit and people watch it, and then that makes them go back and watch the classics, and younger people are exposed to the classics more, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, I mean, as long as Disney's willing to foot the bill and do this, I'm all for seeing what they come up with. This will be an interesting one to see because it's live action, yet Dumbo is a movie about an elephant. So what are you going to do? I mean, I guess a CG elephant? Is it going to be a cartoony CG elephant, or is it going to be a realistic looking CG elephant? Who knows? Way too early to tell, but I'm sure there'll be more news about this coming in the future. Star Wars news, my favorite part of this video. We've got 2 cool pieces of Star Wars news coming out of the shareholders meeting. One of them is the release date for Star Wars Episode 8, which actually I think I had previously reported would also be in December, but it looks like that information was incorrect, so sorry there. It looks like Episode 8 will be coming out on May 26th, 2017. So you can already start your countdowns if you want. That's really cool. The original Star Wars came out in May. That's sort of, you know, one of the two films, I think, alongside with Jaws, that are credited for creating the concept of a summer blockbuster. So it's cool to see Star Wars return to that role as kicking off the summer with a cool action adventure. The other piece of Star Wars news is that we have a name for the first standalone film, and it is called Star Wars Rogue One, which, if you're a Star Wars fan, you would know that means it's X-Wing related, so it's probably going to be about the X-Wing pilots, and that's really cool. That movie is going to be directed by Gareth Edwards, who just recently directed the latest Godzilla film, which I thought was pretty good for what it was, and it's going to be starring Felicity Jones, who I just recently saw in The Theory of Everything, who is really great. It'll be interesting, you know, who knows, we can start speculating, is Felicity Jones, I guess, going to play like an X-Wing pilot? That'd be really neat. Who knows? Who knows? Everything Star Wars related is like locked up in a vault right now, so we'll take whatever little tidbits that fall out that we can get. And then finally, a little piece of Walt Disney World news that came out of the shareholders meeting came out by accident. A young guest asked CEO Bob Iger if they were going to be renaming Disney's Hollywood studio, and Bob Iger, who seemed to have been confused about whether or not such news was announced already, confirmed that the name was going to be changed. But he caught it before he could say anything, and he backtracked and he said they weren't going to announce what the name's going to be, just that the name is going to change. I think the front-running rumor is like Disney's Hollywood Adventure or something like along those lines, I guess, to be sort of a Florida equivalent of Disney's California Adventure. I think this is sort of a nice bit of news, not really a big surprise. Hollywood Studios has been undergoing a big transition. You see the hat being removed. You see the Great Movie Ride is getting a refurb. The backlot tour is closed, and there's a big rumor that that's going to be an expansion into an expanded Pixar place. You know, you've got the talks of Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular closing, and the Lights, Motors, Actions closing, and then all the new Star Wars rides going over there that have been announced. So, I mean, if you're going to be giving this park a huge overhaul over the next couple of years, it would make sense that you give it a new name too. And I think it would also be a symbolic gesture to, I guess, give up on the fact that the original goal of making a theme park that was also a functioning movie studio just isn't, it has, to say it's not going to happen is weird, because it just never happened, really. They barely did anything of relevance at the park when it came to recording. So I think this is just would be the final step in abandoning that idea that this is also a movie studio and more of just a theme park that celebrates films, which is fine by me. My question for you guys this week is, what name would you want for the new Hollywood Studios? Here's the thing. You can't say Disney's Hollywood Adventure. That's the front-running rumor, so that's the boring one. Everyone's heard that one. Something else. Throw something else out there. Maybe go back to MGM. Well, there you have it. If you want to read more about any of this Disney news, all you have to do is check out the links in the description below. If there's a piece of news that you want to talk about that I might have forgotten here, also feel free to mention it in the comments below. And let me know what you think about all these things. Frozen 2, Josh Gad as LeFou, Tim Burton doing Dumbo, Star Wars Rogue One. I'm really excited for that because it's Star Wars. And the new name of the Hollywood studio. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great week. Whatever you're doing, make the most of it because it makes it that much better. And I hope to see you all next time for the next Disney News Update. Bye, everybody.